What time is it?
Passa, passa,
Time.
passa, passa.
Time. Every gal, every gal, every gal, every gal. I go me a
Passa, passa.
don't stop, girl, wine, wine, drink until I get. Drink and rave till the morning light, my
What it? Center, 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 center. Have a shot, son.
Uptown, downtown. You know who this is? Hot man, all of these them no bad like me.
Non-verbal communication.
Do you guys all know Julie Mango?
Yeah,
Everybody?
yes.
Okay, so I realized way more recently than ever before, because I think Julie Mango was posting things that were very relevant, but I don't think she was doing it all.
Oh wait, that's
all
a
the time.
person?
I thought you nodded and said you know who Julie
Girl,
Mango is.
forget the mango. I'm done.
I care about this.
No, I don't know
Yeah,
Julie
that
Mango, but I
is.
do know regular Julie Mango. Yes, go ahead.
Why?
listen
You know
in.
the underbelly people them from the non-underbelly people them.
I will listen then.
So, Julie Mango, what was I saying? Most recently, have been doing everything that she does. I'm like, yes, that is me. That is my life. And I'm sure there are lots of people who will say the same thing. Anyway, in one of her recent posts, she did one where she was saying how Jamaicans communicate without even saying anything. So then she would I don't know, she would push up her lips and then explain what that mean, and then the whole thing. And I'm like, why do we even need words? What's patwa when you have all these all these things that
Why do we need words?
Why do we need words? Because
Oh, that's the girl with the water on the pot and how much guy.
Oh yes, and put.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I know what you're talking about now.
I'm
Yes.
at the point now where Julie Mango posts and I just save the post and share it to everybody on WhatsApp. And I'm like, yo, that's me. Anyway, it just brought back all kinds of memories. I mean, I feel like I don't do as much nonverbal communication in that way now. I can't communicate with people the same, where I give them a certain eye and you know what that means. Or, you, as Julie said, you push up your lips and you know what that means. You say, when I say over the so, you know where over the so is. You don't even have to say over the so. But I'm curious if you guys have any stories of your childhood, of people doing stuff or just saying stuff without saying stuff. And I know 2 episodes ago, Soph said that her mother said, no, sir, your Lizzie didn't do you like this. And she's not saying, that you look bad. She's just saying you're big and she without saying it. So to me, that's a part of nonverbal, even though she's saying stuff, is that she is saying it without saying it. So I'm curious if you guys have any other stories of people doing things or just saying things where there's another meaning, or they're trying to say something without saying it. And I know that's a very Jamaican thing.
It's a very Jamaican thing. Particularly the last thing you just said.
Mm-hmm.
With grandparents. Anybody
yes.
with Jamaican grandparents and all different saying, horse dead and cow fat. If you diss him running belly.
Oh,
That's
the sayings.
Speed nanny go, and they're just everything, and they're just this is what I mean, and figure it out. That part, yes.
That's true.
Very much so.
I feel like grandparents do a lot of nonverbal communication. It's like they don't even have to say anything, and when they do say something, they're not saying what they really mean. You just need to know that it's not that they're saying. It's just something completely different. But
when I was listening to the one with her with the lip thing, I honestly said to myself, every single one of those lip movements, I have done it myself. Every single one. I'm like, yep, I remember that conversation. Mm-hmm. Yep, I know that one too. Definitely. Yep, that one too. Mm-hmm. Because my mother, growing up, my mom and her friend, kids were not allowed in the conversation. So they will communicate with each other and say things. I mean, over the years, we figure out what they were trying to say because they did it so often. But that was like a regular thing with my mother and her friends when they were talking. They would say things that I'm like, that she mean, I know that she mean.
Yep, exactly. Or you're talking about somebody you're not supposed to talk about, and you talk about them in code. Or them say, which one? And you go and look, so I push up your.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you know what I talk, man. You know what? And
yes, ma'am. Yes. I mean, listen, I still do it now, which is one of the hardest things for me at my current job because I have no Jamaican anyone there.
Yeah.
But my other job, I had a Jamaican coworker. Child, please. My poor boss.
Speaking in all kind of codes.
Yeah,
hilarious. That is hilarious.
That man be walking in the hallway. We're like, hey. And we just know what our faces.
Speaking of which, the cut eye from when you were little, and who you're not supposed to do it with, you can't cut your eye after adults. But I don't know why anybody taught us that the cut eye, and I'm probably sure that is a thing here too. But kiss your teeth, cutting eye, those are the things you don't do around adults, but those say a lot also. Like somebody will kiss teeth at the end of a question or at the end of a statement, and it means completely different.
Yes.
It communicates.
Yes.
It's
communication too.
Different things.
The kids following their moms.
Yeah, that.
Yep.
And kissing teeth. And I'm like, they don't even know what they're doing.
Don't even know what it means.
Listen,
yep, try kissing teeth all the time.
I have a client that gets her hair, and she's American. Poor, God bless her. Because every time she comes, Elizabeth always does something Jamaican, and she's always like, what is happening? The last time she was here, Elizabeth wanted something, and she said, no, she was like, and she was like, did she just kiss her teeth at me? And I was like, first of all, it's not it's her teeth, it's kiss our teeth.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
She's like, wait, kiss? It's not kiss? I'm like, in America, it's your teeth. In Jamaica, it's kiss your teeth. And yes, she did. I was like, Elizabeth, that is rude. She's like, Mommy, you do it all the time.
You should follow it.
This is what we teach our kids.
That's right.
Mercy.
What we teach them.
That is hilarious.
But listen, she used it and it was very accurate. She did, it was I was impressed actually. Very impressed.
Yep. My kids kiss them teeth all the time too. And of course, I don't stop them from doing it now, but I know in another setting. When I was younger, I can't do that. No, because who are you kissing your teeth after? You have manners? You can't have manners and kiss your teeth. You're mad?
That is
absolutely.
You kiss your teeth and don't want to fight somebody.
Rude. That is rude. So, but Mama, but you do it. See, that's a completely different situation. Okay? When I do it, it's necessary. And I'm an adult.
Only adults kiss them teeth. Boy, adults want some exclusivity, because that don't make no sense.
Yes.
I think that was an excuse that adults use all the time. Why do you do it? Because I'm an adult.
Mortgage, you get to kiss your teeth. All right?
When they just want something comes in a pay your mortgage.
It's true. I pay the bill, so I get to kiss my teeth.
It's no other purpose.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Oh goodness. Anything else your parents or grandparents used to do?
Not my parents or grandparents, but Jamaicans are very expressive. So if you just see us, not only the facial expression, but the body language, like they're upset and you have to know, or they're happy and you have to, like, we're extremely expressive. So your whole body moving with things too. Your face, your body. And Julie Mango has another one where all she's saying is and she's just doing all different versions of she's doing all versions of that, and that is like a whole conversation is happening.
Yep, I agree completely.
I completely agree. I've done that too.
Are there things that Jamaicans will not allow you to do body, like non-verbally? So like hug you or touch you in certain places, or any of those things that you can think of?
I think Jamaicans are touchy about hugs. At least the Jamaicans I know, like they're not hugging everybody. It's like everybody armpits cannot be on your shoulders. Like that is not a thing. So, and I find myself doing that too, not for that reason, but just a hug is like you're in my intimate space. Like I do think I find Americans are huggers, like most Americans, and they're like, oh, give me up, let me get a hug. I'm like,
Don't touch me. Boom off my face. Boom me give a boom face.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't know that it's not personal. It's just a hug feels like I know you, like, okay.
Yeah, I know you.
Right. Not just everybody gets a hug. And COVID has really quelled that. So I'm very excited.
Let me tell you how COVID has really solidified that hugging situation.
Yes.
People still hug. Don't get it twisted now.
Like today when I went back, all of the kids, I felt like I was like, whoa, wait a minute. They were all running, Miss Hill. I was like, stop.
Do they have to wear masks?
So apparently they now have the option if they want to or not. So the ones who were vaccinated, apparently they're telling me they were given the option. So some had it on and some did not. And I'm like, stop it. No one touched me. Hi everyone. I miss you too. I miss you all. Yay. It's COVID.
It is COVID. Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. I can appreciate some distance. So I like that about the post-COVID world.
Yep. And I think
I use COVID for everything now. Can I just tell you?
Anything.
I use COVID for everything now. Everything.
Everybody use COVID for everything right now.
Everything.
Price up, them say COVID.
COVID, everything.
They don't have things, it's COVID.
COVID.
Food shortage, COVID.
So we can use it too.
It's true.
Right. That is
correct. Weight gain, it's COVID. Like everything is COVID. Like all of it.
I'm tired. This COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
Poor COVID.
Hilarious.
Bad name for everything. I can't think of anything. I don't think as a child, we are expressive people, but I wasn't allowed to be expressive. Like you're not allowed to have an opinion as a kid, at least in my household. You were like, be seen, you're not heard. Yeah. Don't be talking in no adult conversation. And that's just that. Like,
yep.
So these kids nowadays, I admire their freedom. I think it is next level because and
for real.
I'm not a parent, so I don't know what the sweet spot is, but I do think there is a sweet spot between having kids be kids and having kids, right? Like, yes, they're going to have opinions, of course, and they should express those opinions in a healthy way. But I also think childhood is innocent, right? And some of that just has to be preserved. So I think it's hard. It's a hard balance.
It's a hard balance. You're absolutely right. Like with myself and Hill, the way we were raised is a little different, right? Like as Carrie said, I was raised to be there and not be there, like be seen and not her situation. But he was raised to express himself. Mm-hmm. His parents welcome the conversations. Like if you're not happy about it, tell me why. Let's sit and have a conversation. So now in parenting, if I'm having an adult conversation, I'm like, Elizabeth, you need to go be seen and not heard. And he's like, no, let her express. And I'm like, okay, we need to have a conversation. We need to figure out how we're going to do this.
What is an adult conversation? Yeah. I'm just curious.
No, like if I have a friend over that I'm talking to, like me and my friend, we're two adults. And at that point, I feel like she should know, at least say, excuse me, mommy, or something along that lines to ask me a question. But y'all know Elizabeth, she's just going to ask the question. And
she's not butting in. She's not giving her opinion about the conversation. She just wants to be.
Sometimes she wants to be a part of the conversation too. Of course. Sometimes she's responding to the question or whatever.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Exactly.
And I'm like, whoa.
That is
adult conversation. And her dad would say, we let's see if we can try to find another way to get her to understand, that that's not how you enter a conversation. I'm like, come on, what type of conversation? Like straight up. So
yeah, I kind of was raised like Hill too. I want to say my parents were very, very open with us, you know, saying how we felt and what we needed, etc. And I realized as an adult that a lot of people did not understand that in Jamaica. Like people would come up to me and say, like, how the things that you're saying to your mother or your father, whoever, is not respectful, like whatever, like it's not. And I go to my parents and I'm like, am I disrespecting you? Like, why y'all ain't tell me? And they're like, no, you're not. They just don't understand the type of relationship where you can tell me things and I'm not disrespected by it, or we can have these conversations and outside people just don't understand that, because that's not normal. It's not normal for, as a child, for you, and it doesn't matter that I'm an adult child, as a child, you don't say certain things to your parents. You don't say, you don't openly express yourself. That's not normal. So as I am raising my children, I have to also understand that a lot of people won't understand that either. Is that the adult conversation? Yes, I am, you know, saying, listen, the two of us are having a conversation, not because we're adults, but because I'm having a conversation with somebody else. And you can't just jump into it. Or you can't just, you know, you have to say, excuse me, you have to be polite. But, you know, in my world, it has nothing to do with an adult. If you're talking to your friend, I'm not going to pull you aside out of the middle of the conversation. That's disrespectful. So just like I would have respect for you, you need to have respect for me in my conversation too. So it's just different in that regard. And I think, let me tell you,
it's funny that you say respectable in terms of if the kid is in a conversation. I'm gonna tell you this. I remember distinctly one time I was in Jamaica. I was a kid. I had to be under 10, young kid. I was watching TV. I was very into TV. And I was in the living room into something, and my mom was calling me. I wasn't talking to nobody. I was watching TV. And she called me clearly more times than she would prefer. And she came in that living room. When I tell you, I got knocked off that chair. And I was like, and to this day, I remember that. Now, that had to be 30 years ago.
Yep.
But I remember because it was like, when I call you, don't tell me what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. What? It doesn't matter. Like,
yep.
So it's so funny and interesting to me. Like, you know, and I love the evolution, but I'm also like, wow.
Yep.
Things change so quickly. Like, wow, we telling the kids, we waiting on the kids to finish talking.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Yep. Again, my child is 4, and she said to me the other day, I called her 4. I called her and she was in the guest room, and I'm in the living room. I was like, Elizabeth, she's not answered. Elizabeth, she's not answered. I called her 3 times, and I see her rolling her eyes, rolling her little hips, walking towards me. So I was like, you didn't hear me calling you? She goes, but I was coming. Why did I answer?
Oop. Call our father. Him need to deal with that. Yeah. Where's the father? Where's the father?
And she is 4. She said, but I was coming. And then her daddy in the corner going, she has a valid point. I'm like, if you ever said that loud, let her hear you, I swear to you, we fight it. Like, what you
but that's a part of communicating though, which is what I tell my children, because they would say that all the time. I'm coming. Like, they won't say I'm coming, and I'm like, where are you? And they're like, I'm right here, I'm on my way. I'm like, you need to communicate. That's the only way I can know. I can't see you. I can't.
I'm gonna need a yes,
something.
Yes.
You better respond.
Communicate. Yes, you're coming. That's fine.
Come. For her dad, I think he was just more impressed the fact that she was able to say that. Like, I was coming, which is why I didn't answer. You know, and not that he was agreeing with what she was saying. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was very impressed too. But child, if you're starting that at 4, we got a problem. That means you have enough sense to know you best answer me.
Right.
Okay.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
I was coming, so I didn't feel like answering.
So much has definitely changed since we were young, though, because I remember getting beaten for not knowing my multiplication table. So
enough times.
No, well, not enough time. That only happened to me once, and I learned my lesson very, very, very quickly.
Enough times.
Very quickly, because my parents never used to beat me on a regular basis. Like, if it was and it wasn't even my father, my mother used to beat me. And if it was like I think it was more out of like fear of my safety than anything else. Like I told you not to go by that person, yeah, I'd beaten. Where were you coming at 10 p.m.? No, not 10 p.m., but outside of regular hours, beaten. But not like you're talking out a turn, beaten, or you never put it on. It's nothing stupid, just those kind of things. So when my teacher beat me for multiplication, not again. That learned quick. And I still don't know why, because I still don't know my multiplication table all now. So I don't know what the purpose of that was, but
why I was getting beat to learn this.
I guess it was to pass common entrance, because I just aged myself. Hilarious. I don't even think whatever came after common entrance is not even existing anymore. So
mercy.
Wow. But still, it has changed so much, because you can't even talk to them too hard. Not even too hard. You have to allow them to express themselves.
Yes, ma'am.
So I mean, it's good and bad, because I can't imagine that beating the kids at school for, you know, having a bad day or whatever is the reason they used to beat kids at school can't be any good. But also there is that like line, because no picnic can beat up teacher, and that sounds crazy.
Right, now that's the line. Because if we fighting, and I feel like, okay, it's fair game. Okay, all right. Like, right? Like, I'm also not gonna take a beating from a kid. Like, where is the line? Like, he gotta learn how to fight. Not on me. He's not gonna learn how to fight with me.
Not on me.
I
hear that. I hear that completely.
No.
But we gotta have where the middle ground is, but there needs to be a middle ground. Like,
I agree.
I think it's okay. For kids to give some deference to an adult, and I think it's okay for them to know it's an adult. Doesn't mean they're better than you, or you don't get to have a say. But there's a reason, and same here. As adults, we know who are elders and elders, and in our culture, there's a lot of respect.
Right.
Yes.
For age, and I think that's okay, but we take it too far. So I think
it's necessary, and I don't know that we take it far enough sometimes. Like, I think there's certain places where I think, you know, younger generations don't respect their elders, and I wonder, you know, the role that a certain level of freedom allows, right? Like, not being respectful to grandparents and really valuing their life experience and the fact that you exist because they exist, right? Like, I don't see that value in younger generations, and I wonder, what have we given up when you allow too much freedom sometimes?
Yes. I think there's a space where there is such a thing as deference. You know, I don't think it means totally seen and not heard, but I don't think it means fair game, right? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I think from me, based on my observation, a lot of it is we try to make it easier, just speaking as a parent, try to make it easier for our kids to live this life. And the easier it gets for them, the easier they think it was for previous generations. That's why the Jamaicans say we used to walk to school uphill both ways, in snow, in sleet, in whatever. Not that they did that, but you have to understand what they went through for you to get here. When your life is easy, you think everybody's life easy, and we are complaining about why I have to respect you. What did you do? Like, there is no respect for past journeys when your journey is just easy. I mean, if it's easy, then what I got to respect you for? You're doing it just like I'm doing it. So I think that's a large part of it. I mean, you want to be able to have healthy humans, but you also want them to understand that there is a journey there. There was work that put in to give you the freedoms to be able. Same for me. I know that what my grandparents before that, what they put in was hard work to make it easier for me, because my journey is easier. It might not be as easier as somebody else, but it's easier than what they did, a lot easier. And I don't take that for granted. And passing that down, you know, a lot of people, it's harder. It gets watered down as it goes further down in the generations. You don't realize how much work you put in, and people explain it to you, but I don't know. I mean, what do they do? You don't really feel it as it goes further down in the generation. So I think that has a lot to do with it, more than being free to be who they are or what they are saying, or all of that comes with all of the freedom of just having a lot. They just have a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, to me, a big part of it.
Yeah, that's different. I don't know. I'm gonna defer to the parents on the call because I don't know if I could handle no kids rolling their eyes. I mean, but my boundaries are different, and I completely understand that parenting changes you, and so I look forward to that time. Because as of now,
it changes on a daily basis. I'm telling you, because before I use this example all the time. Before I had kids, I was not going to be the parent who breastfed my child forever. And then I was the parent who breastfed my child until my child could say, please, can I have some breast? So you do it, and then you're in it, and then it just is. I mean, it changes daily, and it is what it is. And of course, there are morals and standards because you are Jamaican. I am Jamaican. You know, there are certain things that if it happens, my parents are like, I'm sorry, who are you raising? Who's this animal? so there are definitely parts to it that I'm just like,
and that is true, Misha. I'm glad you said that. It does changes. Because the lot of things that I thought I would never have done either as a parent, I find myself doing. I'm like, whoa, okay. I guess when you're in the situation, you know, it's in a swim or drown, and you just figure it out as you go, as you go along. So I found myself now saying to expecting mothers or just people who are not mothers, don't plan. Just wait till you're in the moment. And just, I mean, definitely you should have a foundation, right? There's things that you want to instill in your kids, and it's just going to be what it is. But for the most part, you won't always get it right the way you were thinking.
Just winging it.
You're winging it. I never thought my child would be telling me that my child at 4, child, I'm going to jail.
Right, you're gonna be laid out. They're gonna call the cops. You're just gonna be standing over the body like, well, I'm sorry,
I did it.
It just happened. I don't know what. Just be laid out.
Just take me, you know.
And then it happened, and you're hugging them, talking about, oh, you're so communicative.
No, big woman. Sophie living with a big woman.
Yep, stop here, bills. No, that's what I say all the time.
Listen,
I say, oh, I own the house. Oh, all right, gonna give it a mortgage.
Yes,
she's always quick to tell me too that it's her house.
You smell yourself.
Right, you smell yourself. I say that too all the time.
That's a good one that your parents would say to you. Oh, you start smelling
yourself, right?
Like
what? I guess that means you're an adult now. Child, I just
smell myself. Really? Okay.
Listen. Who knows?
Jamaican saying.
The sayings.
I heard my mom said that to my brother, and I literally just rolled over.
Your adult brother.
My adult brother. He was like, oh, well, since you start smell yourself, you need to start pay bills. And I'm like,
oh, your brother, I need to be adopted. Your adult brother is not paying bills. He's definitely smelling himself, okay? He is smelling the money. That's what he is smelling.
I'm like, now that's my mother. That's the mother I know, darn it.
Right, because she changed.
She changed.
Exactly. Over time, the Jamaicans get soft.
It's true,
but never expect.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah. Anyway, thank you all for this conversation. And at some point, so Shar is going to input the Julie Mango thing somewhere.
I am gonna have to find a couple.
Julie Mango is funny.
Somewhere.
Misha, when you shared that video, that's when I
ever
found
seen
her. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then I went on her page. I was into a few of her things. I was like, this lady's stupid. Like, she's hilarious.
Good.
But she's accurate. Like, I agree with, I'm going to say about 90% of the things that she said. I'm like, yo, that is so true. That is very accurate.
Definitely. And
like
when
she was doing the thing
journey.
with the personality with the guys, that she was like, I'm not woman, I should take the bucket.
And
honestly, the Jamaican thing was so true. Yep.
It was like a wish.
What's the one that you spray out of she was like, spray?
Yeah, and true.
Spray in the bucket.
Nothing in her hand.
In her hand.
It's like, this is Jamaican man for real.
Truth is not within you.
For real. No. Even if they try, they can't do it. Even if they try. Not in them.
That's right. It's just not there.
That's funny.
Love y'all. Thanks for
Love you,
always
ladies.
sharing.
Yes.
Bye.
Hey, what time is your meeting?
It's at 8.